All right, welcome back to episode 23 of Book Nook Brews, where we'll be covering chapters 18 through 29, which is also just all of part 3 of What the River Knows. No brews today, just because we are
Recovering.
in a recovery mode from the little trip that we had for our anniversary.
Yes.
So no brews today. And yeah.
Yeah, I did have a coffee brew this morning, but not for right now for this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking it. We're gonna have a long-ish recovery just until Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, our livers cannot handle anymore.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Before we get into the recap, I did want to talk a little bit about books.
Sure.
So your girl read. I think I mentioned it in last episode that I have a Kindle now. I'm a Kindle girly.
Yeah.
And my hold at the library for this particular book finally came off. I was finally able to borrow it. So I was finally able to borrow It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And maybe an unpopular opinion, did not really like it, but I also did not like another romance book from her prior. I don't know. The characters, I ranted to you about this book.
Yes.
I think I finished this within like a day or two. The characters just were very flat for me. I liked the message of the book, but I just personally, it was written poorly for me. And I honestly could have done without reading it, but I did it because I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up watching the movie to see if it's, hoping that it would be better. But also because I think I saw Blake Lively is the main actress for this.
Oh, she's doing that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I saw the cover for it. So that's one thing. So I will probably never read another romance book from Colleen Hoover, but I did hear that her thriller is more appealing, so I may end up giving, I think it's Verity, a try. But we'll see. I need to recover.
Yeah.
But I'm reading other little things, and I just wanted to mention that because I know there's so much, I don't know if it's hype around that book.
Yeah.
But personally, I just did not like it, and I gave you all my reasons on a car ride home of
Yeah.
It's like 30 minutes, just me getting out work, getting home, and it was just me going on and on about that book. And all you had to do was like, oh really? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I just, honestly, just a little thing. Atlas, if I could have gotten more of him, that would, like, honestly, for me, he was the main character. I liked him. Everyone else, like, he had more life to him than anyone else. Everyone else just sucked. I mean, just their character wasn't giving me anything, unfortunately. But yeah, just my little thoughts before we get into the recap, because I have a lot of thoughts about this third part. You do?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alrighty. Chapter 18. So Isadora goes with Inez out when she's sketching, and she tells her that she should approach her uncle in another way to get more information out of him. Sometimes a little manipulation can help. She mentions that her father, Mr. Fincastle, works for her uncle regardless of any gossip told about him. Maybe he didn't know / paid no regard to it. Once they're on Philea. Did we agree it's Philea or Philia?
I thought it was filet.
Filet? Okay, yeah. Once they're on Filet, Theo, Ricardo, and Wit give Inez a tour of the temple to see if she feels any magic in them. At first, she doesn't feel anything, and her uncle gets frustrated, telling her to do better. He makes it seem like they're on a time crunch, but he won't tell Ines why. All she can think about is what her mother wrote in the journal, and she thinks to herself that desperation makes people dangerous. Chapter 19. As Ines is trying to get more information on what Wit does for her tío Ricardo, her uncle comes in with art supplies, handing them to her and asks her to draw the paintings in the temple, which leaves Wit to watch after her. While she draws, Wit finds her sketch of a gate her mother told Monsieur Maspero to meet her in an unmailed letter. She tries to play it off, but he persists in questioning her. This then turns into what can only be called a lover's quarrel, with Wit not wanting her to call him by his first name and telling her that none of her questions will change that her parents are gone. Wit's point of view. He informs Ricardo why Basil Sterling is looking for Cleopatra. Turns out he wants to find Cleopatra for her body. He believes it holds magical properties that can heal any sickness, and it's rumored that he's ill. Chapter 20. When Ines walks past Trajan's kiosk, she starts to feel that tingle in her finger when magic is around. She gets closer to touch the platform of the Pharaoh's bed and sees another memory. Her uncle calls her back and asks her if she felt any magic, but instead of telling him what she saw, she lies and says nothing. At night, she sneaks off to go to the Trajan kiosk again to see what other magic she can feel. But she didn't notice that Wit was behind her, and he eventually just tags along and takes her to a tunnel inside. Chapter 21. They explore further into the tunnel. Ines finds out that her father also had a knack for experiencing/detecting magic just like her. When they reach the end of the tunnel, she concludes that what they are looking for is on the other side of that wall. They go back to bed. However, Ines wants to tell Wit to hold off on telling her uncle about what she discovered at the tunnel. She asks for a day, but he hesitates. She then confronts him about their attraction to one another, leaning in to kiss him. He was stiff, but then melted into her for a moment before pulling away and telling her he was engaged and would keep her secret for one more day. Chapter 22. Ines runs back to her room, but there's a dark shape in her room that moves. She almost screams until she hears a familiar voice that she never thought she would hear again. Her mother. She tells Ines that her father is truly dead. Ines is mad that her mother never wrote to her. She tries to get her mother to leave with her, but Lourdes says she can't until she finishes what she started. Her brother is involved with an illegal smuggling trade of Egyptian artifacts. If he finds Cleopatra, then all of that will be sold in the black market. When Ines mentioned the gold ring her father sent her, her mother was confused at first, but then agreed that her father sent it to Ines for safekeeping. Lourdes tells Ines she'll come back and see her when it's safe, but to stay out of trouble for right now and to not tell Wit that she saw her. Chapter 23. Ines is back to drawing inside the temple when Wit interrupts to question her about who was in her room last night. She tries to skirt around him and tells him nothing, but then she walks into a smaller room and tastes roses. She senses magic. Wit and Ines continue to follow the magic until they find a room that has been hidden away for 2,000 years. Chapter 24. Wit says that they need to tell Ricardo, but Ines tries to stop him. This is all futile since moments later, Ricardo walks down and finds them both. Wit runs up to grab Abdullah. Meanwhile, Ricardo and Ines realize that her father found the ring there and had not shown it to him at all. Once they're all there, they try to figure out how to open the tomb with the tiles in the room. Ines suggests they press all the tiles together, and only then does the tomb open to them all. Chapter 25. They're met with another barrier. Abdullah tells Ines that she'll record this room and then they will break the seal. That night, her mother comes to her again at night. Inés tells her that they found Cleopatra and will open the seals soon. Lourdes reveals to Inés that Ricardo killed her father. He died in her arms. Lourdes has a plan to get back at Ricardo, but asks for Inés's help. She gives her a handkerchief that shrinks anything it can fully cover. She tells her to shrink as many artifacts as she can without her uncle knowing. Inés is hesitant at first, but then agrees. Her mother tells her that she has a friend who is coming to take her sometime before Christmas, so they need to get this done quickly. And so that next day, in between recording artifacts, she shrinks them and tucks them away. She also sees another memory when she ran her index finger over a statue. Later that night, she gave her mom 29 figurines. Inés feels off about what she's doing, but feels like she's only making things worse for all of them. Chapter 26. 2 weeks go by and they still haven't opened the tomb. The days were long and she was still shrinking artifacts down and giving them to her mom. Her mom tells her that tomorrow her friend will be there to take them on the boat, so just one more day of shrinking artifacts. The next day, Ricardo gets a letter inviting him to the New Year's Eve ball held at Shepherd's every year. He doesn't like going to them, but since Maspero has revoked his firman, Abdullah tells him that he needs to go to the ball and speak with him and make things right. Ricardo agrees, but says he'll get going after Christmas and that tomorrow they will open the tomb. However, by then, Inés would be far gone with her mom. Whit finds her and gives her 2 letters. Inés takes this time to confess her feelings for him since she won't see him after tomorrow, telling him, "There's no tomorrow for us. We don't even have today. But I wanted you to know how I felt, even if you don't feel the same way." She didn't expect a response, but to her surprise, Whit says it goes both ways. Chapter 27. Finally, it's time for Inés to leave with her mom. She meets her by the river with a friend who is like really buddy with her mom. She gives her mom the remaining 6 artifacts she grabbed and then heads for the boat. As they get near, her mom starts to pat her clothes as if she lost something. Inés asks what's wrong, and Lourdes says she lost her silk purse with her headache medicine and she never travels without it. Her mother tells her it may be higher up on the bank, and Inés says she'll go looking for it, then meet them back at the boat. She reaches the shore, but then she doesn't see her mom or anyone for that matter. The shore is empty. Inés looks out to the water and sees a blurry outline of the boat. Her mother had left her behind. On the ground, she found a note from her telling her goodbye and to go back to Argentina and marry the son of a consul. She tells her to not come back looking for her because she won't like what she'll find. A loud cry escapes Inés and Whit hears her. He asks her what's wrong and she tells him everything, from shrinking artifacts to Ricardo murdering her father. Whit immediately tells her that her mother lied to her. Ricardo isn't involved in any illegal activities. Her mother is. She procures for their auctions. Ricardo had suspected and even thought her father may be involved. Whit then tells her that her mom was having an affair, and everything she found in her room must have been planted by her mom to set up Ricardo. He also tells her that her mother is looking for a sheet with a drawing of a snake eating itself in Ouroboros, which can lead them to alchemy. This must be what Lourdes is looking for, and apparently so is Whit. In the end, she's going to have to face her uncle, but that will be for tomorrow. Chapter 28. The next day, Whit and Inés approach Ricardo and Abdullah and she tells them everything. Regardless of the situation, they decide to not go after Lourdes and instead go forward with opening the tomb. But once it is open, Inés will stay behind and continue to complete the drawings. Ricardo is pissed and he stormed off afterward. Isadora then comes up to Inés to see if she wants to learn how to shoot. She agrees and follows her lead. Isadora tells Inés that she's too trusting. Inés gets mad and tells her she doesn't know nothing about her. But Isadora says, I know you're the type of person who would leave the safety of this camp with a near stranger, even knowing they carried a weapon. She then shoots the scorpion off her gun and gives her the gun to try. Chapter 29. Whit gives Inez a present, taking her to the top of the temple to see the ancient paintings. Inez also gives him a gift, which is a drawing of him in her sketchbook, and he asks her to sign it. The last thing Whit gives her is a button that came loose from her dress on the day they met. He couldn't bring himself to throw it away or give it back. Inez allows him to keep the button, and before they go back, Whit tells her that he's been engaged since he was 10 years old and has only met his fiancée twice. Inez doesn't understand why he told her that, but he tells her to forget about it. Later, the crew goes down to open the tomb. They each push one side of the door until it swings forward, revealing a room. There lie Cleopatra with Marcus Antonius on her left and Caesarion on her right. After they marvel at the room, Ricardo tells Inez she should start drawing immediately. At the end of the day, Inez finally reads the letter she received and finds out that her cousin Elvira has gone missing. Inez starts to panic and tells Whit and Ricardo that she has to leave. She grants this for her and tells her he'll take her back to Cairo. Whit's point of view. That same night, Whit also tells Ricardo he has to leave, and he lets him. Whit leaves before he has to tell another lie, and that is how this third part ends. Probably missing a little bit of detail, but oof. Your thoughts?
A couple. Inez, that's her name, right?
Inez.
Is stupid.
Yeah.
Her mom, a bitch.
Fuck noodles all day. Not that way.
And I think that wraps it up. Thank you.
Dude, were you expecting the mom? Well, I don't know if she gave you the impression. Her mom felt off to me from the get-go.
Yeah, no. Like, I think it's from our predictions in the past, where we had said it's either her parents are dead, but we find out who did it, or they're alive, right? There was never an option for one of them to be alive. And to me, that was because that would just not make sense. So as soon as it was like, oh, mom, like, I was like, okay, there's one. That's kind of how it just works in these types of stories. They come out of nowhere for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. And whether it depends on the story, but in most of them is like, oh, because they need money, right? Or they're trying to do something, whatever. And so it was already off from there. And then when she's asking her to take these artifacts, like straight away, as soon as that, right, it didn't seem to me like, oh, no, she's right. Yeah, we got to take those away. No. As soon as she asked her to do that, I was like, she's the one that's doing this. And her dad is dead because of her. That's how it's going to go. Her dad is dead because of her mom. Whether she did it or not, I don't know yet. I don't have a theory on how that is, but it was because of her and her doings. Do I think maybe it's the guy that she's with? Perhaps. Or just maybe she's working with Evelyn, Sir Evelyn or
Sir
whatever.
Evelyn.
We're working for that like area, so he caught on and Sir Evelyn had him killed, whatever. So it may have well end up being the bad guys that did it, but because of her request or whatever, right? But then Inez is stupid for doing whatever mom says after being gone for 20 fucking years. And it's like, I get like maybe the emotional thing is like, okay, yeah, now that she's here, I'll do whatever she says. But like at the same time, you have to stop and think, she's gone, and now out of nowhere comes over here and is whispering.
But mind you, though, she has red letters where it's almost implicating that her uncle may have killed her father or her parents,
Yeah.
or may have like a part in that. And so that's why she's more inclined to believe her mom. But even then, she still feel like it's wrong.
Like all that, all that is valid points, right? And it would get you thinking that as well. But as soon as she starts asking you to steal artifacts, that's where you're like, you got to be like, okay, wait, is this actually like, in what world is she the good person in telling you to steal those artifacts? Right. And it's like, yeah, she's going to plant the idea that Ricardo's the one taking them to these auctions and stuff like that. But what is stealing them going to do? You know, you didn't stop and ask your mom, hey, where are we taking these?
Yeah.
Who is getting them? Are museums getting them? Or stuff like, no, you just like, oh, she's taking them. She must know where they go. No, you got to stop.
She's very trusting.
Yeah.
And that's what Isadora told her. Like, she's very trusting. And even though she tries to protect herself and kind of be dubious or like doubtful of everything, she's still too trusting with some people at first.
Yeah.
Like with Wit and her mom. Like, what are you doing, Ines?
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that I'm like, ah. But luckily, I mean, Wit was also telling her, like, listen, it's trying to make her feel better in the sense of be like, hey, listen, don't worry. She's your mom. It's understandable why you would try to help her. And he even tried to defend her for Ricardo, but it's just she screwed up so bad.
Yeah. I don't think her, her cousin or whatever, I don't think she's captured.
Yeah. I also think that her mother must have sent that letter because she said, how would they know that I'm here?
Yeah.
The only one that knows that she's there is her mom.
Yeah.
There is no way that this is actually happening. And that's what pissed me off at the very end. It's like, after all of this, you don't think that your mom possibly had a part in sending you these letters?
Yeah.
Unless maybe she thinks about it later. But that made me so angry. It's like,
I feel like it's going to be one of those scenarios where she's going to think about it like halfway and then ask, oh, can you turn the ship around? I have to remember. and the captain's going to be like, no, dude, it's a fucking boat. I can't just turn it around. And she's going to jump or some shit, or take the lifeboat or whatever and swim back. Or I don't know. She's going to do something stupid. But yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where she's going to realize it there, or maybe she goes all the way and there's a trap there for her, right? Or whatever. But.
Wit. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, we got a little bit more romance in this part. Probably not the one that I was expecting, but honestly, I think it was like a nice little dose of romance, even though I hate that they're so back and forth. That's what sometimes I don't like about romance, is a lot of the relationships are just back and forth. No, I don't like it. Yes, I kind of do. And so that kind of back and forth, I sometimes just don't like. I know that's the whole gist of it, but it can get annoying. And so I don't think I was expecting Wit to be engaged. That is like a whole thing in itself. And I also saved like the letter that he got, because Wit also got a letter, and it was a letter from his parents. And I'm going to read it right now. Whitford, I tire of writing the same thing over and over. Your mother is at her wit's end. I don't know how much more she can take. This will be my last letter before I come myself. You will not thank me for the visit, I promise you. Come home, A. Which I'm assuming is his father. But like, dude, why is it so important for him to get married to who you haven't betrothed from like 10 years? What is going on?
It's probably like royalty or something of that.
Oh, you think so? I did not even think of that.
Because why else would it be so
true?
Important?
Which makes sense why he's so closed off about like his personal life. He doesn't want anyone knowing his status. Okay, great points. And why he's very much talking of like of Ines's image per se. Like, how will people think of you because
Yeah.
he has that from? Interesting. I did not think of that. The other thing that I wanted to mention from Wit, aside from the romance portion, was I mentioned it in there, but Wit is looking for the Ouroboros, that scroll.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught on to it, but in previous chapters, he had mentioned that he's just looking for a piece of paper and then he's out. I wonder if he found it and that's why he's leaving. But what would he want with alchemy?
I wonder if that's how he gets rid of the engagement.
Oh.
Like how it's a fixed marriage or whatever. Or maybe that's exactly how it's fixed. Like there's a spell or there's a like magic involved or something.
Interesting.
And he needs that to break it.
off.
Or he's trading it. He's like, here's this and get me unengaged.
And you know what? I had another theory that I wrote this down. I was thinking, could Wit be working with Lourdes?
Her mom?
Yeah, her mom. Because I don't know if he seemed that surprised that she was still alive. But I don't know if maybe he's working with her.
Because I think the only one that
know
thought
for,
they
like,
were
money.
dead was her. Everybody else, I think, knows they were alive.
Or gone. Disappeared.
Yeah. Like everybody else, I think, didn't make them out as dead.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's why it wasn't that surprising. Because even then, the Wit was like, yeah, you didn't know it was your mom. But then he also said some things. He was like, yeah, how he knew about the affair and all that stuff. It's like after they found out about that, they kind of just pushed her away. And that's why Ricardo was like, she basically is dead to her. Or dead to him, sorry.
Yeah.
Right, and I think like that's what they're going with. But then to protect Inez, they thought the better thing to say was they're just dead. Because like her dad is probably dead, right? So they were probably better off saying, hey, they're both dead. Rather
now
than,
I'm wondering if he could actually be dead or not.
I think he is.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he for sure is. Because then if it comes out that he's also alive, that's stupid. And I would not like that writing whatsoever.
I guess it would make sense to, in a way, quote unquote, like kill him off. But the mother, man, what a bitch.
Yeah.
I am angry.
Yeah.
Angry. What the hell? Dude, at first I thought her mom seemed genuine. Which, here's the part. I kept rereading this moment over and over, like, after I found out that she betrayed her. Of when she's like, did he hurt you? Do you have bruises? I was like, does that seem genuine? Like, it felt like it was genuine.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there is an element of truth there, or if it was just a lie.
Or maybe he got physical when he found out that he had betrayed him.
Oh, true.
And she's using that
to paint her
against
picture.
him.
Yeah. Ugh, there's so much.
I mean, because betrayal will do that to you, and even family betrayal will get you so mad to that point where you're like, you'll do anything. Right? You're like, yeah. So I think she's just using that image of him.
Dude, this couple of chapters was wild.
It was.
It was so much to unpack.
Yeah.
Because it's true, like, everyone has been very, like, hidden, per se, or, like, secretive around Inez. But I think it's because they all knew. She had this idea of her parents being, let's say, like, high and mighty, per se, or just an innocent picture of them. Only to get told that your mom is not as innocent as you thought she was.
Yeah.
She's a bitch. She's awful. And went against what everyone in the crew believes. So maybe Abdullah is right. All they're trying to do is just look at history.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'd like to formally apologize to Abdullah,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. My bad, Abdullah.
From episode 1, we were like, yeah, maybe. He's not much, but maybe.
Abdullah.
And he's just there. He just works there, bro.
This is our formal apology video.
Yeah.
I have it in a notes format. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the first thought I had after, like, reading the Seta chapter. I'm like, huh, maybe he was all innocent.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. If it comes out that he had any part in this, then yeah.
Yeah, I fucking knew it. I knew it.
This would be, like, a bigger plot twist because now we're, like, all on his side.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But you know what? I guess it makes sense because we have been told like that's all that they're doing, and if that's how Zazie,
Yes.
his sister and Ricardo's deceased wife, if that's what her vision was too, then it makes sense why they're just doing this to record history and to see these amazing artifacts. But yeah. Sorry, Abdullah.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
Please accept our apology. We'll see you in like part 4. Oh man, how was the romance for you? I like to know what you thought.
I didn't care for it. It was completely unnecessary. Like with everything that went on in part 3, I was like, bro, let's skip over this. Get me to the next part of what was going on. Right. To me, it was like, we already knew he had someone else, right? We just didn't know if it was maybe I don't know, like a sister or a family member or whatever back home. He had somebody else, right? So it was no surprise to me that he was engaged. It's like, oh, okay, engaged. That's what it was. But it's still someone else. And that's what he was doing this for. He was doing it to just get away from that. Or looking for this to try to get away from that. Everything else was just... Like,
what did you think of like Inez trying to like put herself out there? And, like,
useless. Why? He already told you he's engaged back then. Like right now, we probably think, oh yeah, that could persuade someone. But back then, like if this is truly in the 1800s or whatever it was, there's no getting rid of that. And back in the day is like if you're set to be married to someone, you were set to be married to that someone. The only time where it would change was like in a movie, and it's because it's a movie, because it would never happen back in the day like that.
But this is a book. So
this is a book, and it could, but it'd be stupid if it does. And,
oh my God.
Yeah, no, like I have this thought of it, and it's like this should not be changed. And yeah, I don't care how Wit feels about it, and he's like, oh, it goes both ways. Well, no, the fuck it doesn't. You are set to be with that person. That's how that works. Unless you want to go and kill everybody over there and then come back and he's like, well, no engagement anymore and nobody can say nothing. Like, no, there's always going to be someone there to be, unless you want to be completely unattached to your family and completely unattached to everything that you have back home, to stay here and be with her, then that's what's going to happen. But then that would make me mad. That would piss me. Like, I'm already mad. Like,
but why? It's I don't know.
It doesn't fit with the time period. If you want that sappy fairy tale love story, do it, but present the book in that way. If we're so adamant about this being in that time period, stick to that.
But I will say, you don't think that there are people back then who also who were engaged or betrothed to someone and didn't want to be?
No, I'm sure maybe 98% of them did not want to. You don't want to be with anyone that's forced on you. But back then, that's just how it had to happen. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like you said, he said, he's only met them twice. But it's like the families have that tie already. Mm-hmm. And it's whether you like it or not, that's what's going to happen. And then they make it a point for you to like not meet that many other people. right? And so, like, at that time period, that's that. And so, to me, this whole fucking thing is useless. Like, to me, Whit has been the good guy from the beginning. It's like, all right, I'm literally not here to babysit you. I'm working for your uncle. You do you. Do not get attached. Do not read into anything. And what does she do? The complete fucking opposite of what he says.
And I will agree with that. That's the part I don't like about their relationship, is she keeps trying.
Because then again, he's probably the only guy that she's ever seen. I don't know. But from the note that her mom left her is like, go get married to the prince or whatever. It's like, because that is also probably what was supposed to happen, right? That was probably an arrangement that was in the works until they fucking left for Egypt or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if she has talked to other people as well or whatever. Because
true, yeah, we don't know. I don't think she has, to be quite honest. She seems like she was probably honestly a loner her whole life.
Because for him to be drawing this guy at a coffee shop kind of screams loner, you know? Like, have you not seen any other guy to the point where you have to start drawing this dude while he's eating a fucking donut? Like, bro. And then what do? You give him the fucking portrait as a gift. It's like, hey, I was just staring at you for fucking 30 minutes. Huh?
It was a new portrait.
No, well, that's even worse. You go and draw him a second time while he's not even around. You memorized what he looks like.
You know, for love.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, their relationship is not one of my favorites. I think as friends, it works very well. But anything more, he'd shut her down so many times, and then she keeps trying, and that's the part I don't like the most. It's like, you're almost seeming a little bit desperate, my love. I don't quite
so that's
like
what I said,
that. And it's like, just let the guy go. He has so many of his own little secrets. Look for someone else.
Yep.
It doesn't even have to be the console guy. Just anyone. And I still feel like Whit might betray her. I don't know. I know he's going back home, but I still feel like that has to be in the works.
Yeah.
Maybe. That has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just think the romance in this whole thing was useless. I didn't need it. The only thing it's been given me is comedy, because it's like she keeps trying to read into it and he just responds with, I told you not to.
What did I say?
And then,
what did I say?
And then that just gets me going, see, bitch? Like, that it's just comedy to me, because it's like, he literally keeps telling you not to do that, and you do it, and then you get hurt, and then you start crying, and then now your mom betrayed, and is like, well, that's what you fucking get. You know? If only you weren't so fucking stubborn and stupid.
Yeah, and it's like her stubbornness can sometimes be admirable for like her persistence of wanting to be there, but then it makes her look very naive or immature in some points where, and like for example with Whit, it's like, why are you like this? Could you not have just anyone else, or just actually accept that he's telling you no and go about your day?
Yeah.
I think those are the moments that made me cringe a lot. He would set his boundaries, and then she would just keep on trying to push that boundary every single time.
Like, that's usually the male role.
Yeah.
In movies and in books and just in life.
Yeah.
It's usually a guy saying, hey, yeah, you told me your boundaries, respect, don't give a fuck about them, and goes anyway. But in this case, it's her. And it's like, bro, it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, he tells you to not read into it. And here you are just making something out of nothing.
Yep.
And so, gosh, what do you think is going to happen in this last portion?
Hopefully nothing sappy. Nothing romantic, nothing, hey, I broke off my engagement. It's like, how? You've been engaged since you were 10. How did that just come out of nowhere? Right? They're going to face off against the mom. Someone's going to die.
Yeah.
I think her mom's probably going to die for real this time. And she's going to be hurt, but she's also going to be like, It's like I've already been without you for 20 years. Then I find out you were betraying our whole family. I'm not going to feel too bad about this one.
True.
It was cool to see you again, but that was it, you know?
Goodbye.
Or both her and Ricardo end up dying somehow in a standoff or something. I don't fucking know. And who is going to take care of Ricardo's excavation? Inez. They could also do that. Or just Abdullah up next, but then Inez being Abdullah's Abdullah. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I hope we get a fucking time jump to where Wit is with his engaged person.
Why do you want him with his engaged person?
So it fucking silences Inez. She had the choice. She had the choice to be silent or be silenced. She skipped over the option of being silent, so now she should be silenced. Okay?
You're so brutal. You're so mean.
This is what happens when you give me romance that has no point being in this. This is what, like, when it mattered, like in The Fourth Wing, I didn't like it, but it added to the book.
Yeah.
Right? In this and in, I forgot about the name of that book already.
The first one.
Yeah, the
Sanctuary
first.
of the Shadows.
Yeah, that one. And this is it.
Like, I haven't seen you this heated since that one.
Yeah, no, because it's, and it, like, I'm on Wit's side, and it's not even like a male thing. It's like she's just being annoying. She's being a child about a relationship that cannot be, and it's like like I said, be silent or be silenced, and she can no longer be silent about it because she already let everything know. And so I was like, all right, well, now time jump to where you're engaged and silence that bitch. Like. Like, at this point, she wants romance. Go get Kareem. That boy out there cooking in the kitchen, let him cook some lines. I don't know.
Yes.
Like,
he's a child.
is he? I thought they were the same age.
Oh, I thought he was younger.
Because isn't she a child?
No, she's like past her. She must be 18 or a little bit.
That is a child.
That. Well, yeah.
That
yes,
is a
it
child.
is. But
especially back then.
Oh, well, no. Technically, back then, that is a full-grown adult ready to be married off and then popping them kids.
This is true.
This is
well,
true.
then Kareem's almost there.
No.
I thought he was like around their age because that dude was taking care. Like the kitchen was his. No.
I mean, yeah, but child labor, my dude, child labor.
True.
And plus, like, remember when because Kareem wasn't supposed to go down with them to the tomb. But he tags along and they let him, which I thought was so dumb.
No, I liked it. I don't know. I like Kareem. I don't know. He's
no,
like
I mean, yes, he's a likable character, but like it made no sense.
I don't know. I enjoyed his presence there because it was. Didn't he like almost blow something up or like? No, he almost drank something.
No,
he's like, oh look,
he drank some honey.
No, he almost did. They stopped him. Did. I thought they stopped him. They were like, no, wait, don't do that.
And I'm pretty sure he already.
Oh yeah, no, because he was like, it tastes like honey.
Yeah.
But it's like 10 million year old honey.
And they were, they're like, dude, and he's like,
what? It's honey. Yeah.
And that's why I'm pretty sure he's younger because only a kid would do that.
This is true. But yeah. And to that point, Wit's been engaged since 10. Just wait for Kareem. The fuck? Like, it's probably.
No, by then she's gonna be way older. She can't have kids, and that's predatory.
Well. Yeah, but back then the only predator that existed was probably a fucking tiger, like, or alligator. At that point,
bruh, no, it would be a predator. She's over 18.
Yeah, but whatever. Look, it's either that or she just stay single. So just stay single and shut the fuck up.
Probably, I mean, in her line of work, it would probably be best if she does stay single.
Or just go with the prince. It's already there.
The consul.
Whatever. Somebody, bro, just leave Wit alone. Bro.
Oh my gosh, you're like Wit's #1 fan.
I'm not Wit's #1 fan. I'm just Inez's #1 hater.
But she's the protagonist.
I don't give a like.
She's a female main
I'm
character.
usually not a fan of the protagonist.
You like Violet.
Because of the dragons. Not because
But
of
you
her.
liked her.
Because of the dragons.
You liked her.
If Inez had a dragon,
You liked
sure.
her. You liked her though. You like Mark Watney.
He was the only character in the book.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I guess. But in a book like this where there's like a few characters, I'm usually not the one to go, hey, the main character is my favorite character. Like, for example, in Harry Potter's not my favorite character.
Yeah.
Right. And that's because a lot of times in stuff like that, they try to drive you to like the main character when maybe sometimes it's not supposed to be that way.
But that's the point. That's their story. It's that main character's story.
But
so you have to like them.
You don't have to.
Okay, yeah, there are some stories where they don't want you to.
Exactly.
Because they're like the anti-hero. But this person is the hero.
But there's also, well, you don't know that yet. She could end up being much stupider than we thought. Or more stupid than we thought.
But in other books, that's our hero. That's who we have to be rooting for.
Yes, not in this book.
That's who we have to be rooting for.
If you had taken out the romance, maybe. But that made her even more dumb than what I already thought. So.
You truly are Eunice's number one hater, huh?
Yep.
Jesus, man.
And then what she did with her mom made her worse. And like, all right, well, I thought you were dumb. Now you're just stupid. And so we'll see how this closes off. We can have a home run here.
Yeah,
What's worse than stupid? I don't know. We'll find out.
I feel like there's still maybe one more betrayal, and I think that has to do with Wit. Or there is for sure gonna be an altercation with the mom. Yeah. Some sort of standoff. But
maybe they fight with magic.
Ayo. The power of love.
Or the power that she gets from Cleopatra.
Honestly, though, I still want to know why she's so tied to Cleopatra.
Yeah.
No, she's not gonna be some sort of descendant, but I do feel like there's just something more there that I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that wraps up all of our thoughts for
now.
Part 3 for now.
Until I am challenged again.
So we'll see. Next week will be the last remaining set of chapters for What the River Knows by Isabel Ibañez. So it'll be all of Part 4, which, if I have seen correctly, is not that many pages. It's like less than 90, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot. So that will be next week. All of Part 4 plus our Brews review.
Yes.
So that'll be next week. But before we go, Senor, what is going to be August book? Please.
So my birthday month book, I have decided to go ahead and do Project Hail Mary by Andy
Really?
Weir. Yeah.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed The Martian, and then this one is considered a very good read by a lot of people. And then we started seeing TikToks and stuff, and people, were rating books out of 5, and people were doing like, this book breaks their scale of that because of how good it is. So we'll see. And then we found out they're making that into a movie.
Yes, that's going to be a movie adaptation sometime next year, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, we could get ahead of the game here and already know what the book is and go into the movie without worrying that, hey, we got to finish the book to go see it and stuff like that, right? So I don't know. And then I like that theme. I like the space stuff. So
you're in your space era.
For my birthday stuff, I assumed why not. I could have done something with dragons, but at the same time, there's probably nothing out there good. I know I have one that we bought at the bookstore, but it seems more, I don't know what to say. I don't know. I have to look at it more. But I think it's also a signed copy. So
it is. That is one of our signed copies.
Yeah. And so,
I heard good things about it.
We'll see. But yeah, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Weir. I should look up how to say his name. Now that is his second time in his. So this is the first author that gets a repeat in this Book Nook Brews book club.
Yeah.
First repeat. So shout out Andy Weir. You have now won a chance to be an invitee.
Invitee?
How do you say that? You have now won the chance to get an invitation from us to join us in our show, please.
Hey, yeah, why not? No.
But yeah, that is August book of month.
Yay! I'm excited. Eep. I'll be buying those books right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be it. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. See you.
Ma.